St. Clair's home in Greenville, South Carolina is one house that is offering opportunity for many new mothers. We bring you the story of one of them, Honey Hathaway. Honey, you used to live here at St. Clair's home. Tell me a little bit about how you found their doors and came to live here.
I found St. Clair's home through a Google search. I was kind of homeless at the time, living between a tent in Greenville and staying in a house with no lights, no water. Doing a Google search, trying to find like a homeless shelter, any kind of shelter that would take me in. And at first it was showing up that it was an adoption agency. And I was like, I was praying about it and I said, God, I really don't want to give my baby up for adoption, but if this is, your will, then, I'll click on it and see. But when I clicked on it and I looked, it actually wasn't for adoption. It was actually a maternity home that, empowered us to raise our own children, which was great. And I felt like the Lord was leading me to this place.
Yeah. And before you came upon St. Clair's home, was there any hesitancy about whether or not you were going to keep your baby? Was that a hard decision to make?
Oh no, it was never an option for me, but I didn't know what God's plan was, and if that was part of his plan, I would have cried doing that, but
yeah,
it wasn't an option in my mind.
Right, yeah. And this is your daughter, Isamena.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about her.
She is going to be 16 months in a few days. She is so smart. She says sentences. She's sweet, kind. I've been raising her up in the church, so we go to church regularly, which we stay in the cry room most of the times right now. But she really enjoys going to church because when I say it's time to go to church, she jumps up and she's like running to the door.
Aww,
like, yeah,
I love
ready
that.
to go.
I love that. Honey, tell me more about your time here at St. Clair's home and how it's different from other maternity homes or homeless shelters. All the resources here really equip mothers to be able to be self-sufficient. How did that impact your life?
So yeah, St. Clair's home is not like any kind of homeless shelter. I really don't know anything about maternity homes, but I'm sure it's not like them either. When I came here, I expected probably, having to get up early in the morning, go find a job, something like that, because that's what they do in homeless shelters.
Right.
But here it's kind of different. We do have a lot of structure, but we had a lot of classes to empower us to, so that when we went into the real world, we would have, the life skills that we needed to, be successful out there.
Yeah.
And while the St. Clair's does not, pressure you with their religion, they are there for you spiritually. So you can go to like Sister Stella, Sister Teresa, even Valerie about anything, and they're gonna give you a little bit of a spiritual guidance, and I think that's really important in people's lives, especially when we're coming out of lives without structure. It's kind of chaotic. So
yeah, and talk to me a little more about that structure. We talked to Sister Teresa about the importance of it, but from the perspective of a mom living here, what was that like?
It was different from what I was used to, but again, it was really needed. So we wake up in the mornings. We have to, clean up our room. We do have certain chores that we're assigned each week, so those have to be done by Saturday, but, a good steward would do them every day to try to keep the house clean.
Sure. Talk to me about the relationships with the other moms that you built. How many moms were living here when you were here?
There was quite a few moms living here. When I first came, I think that there was probably about 5 other mothers. Sometimes people leave here because of the structure. They can't really stick with it. So there was girls in and out of here, but finally, I think maybe I was 6 or 7 months in here. We got a good group, and then there was probably about 8 of us. The whole house was full.
Wow.
The relationships we built were really good because we treated each other like sisters. Of course, we have arguments, stuff like that, but we would resolve it. It was just like a really good family atmosphere, and the setting was really homey and loving.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about your life now.
So my life right now, well, I'm a single mother, of course. I'm living in my own house now. It was really scary moving out, being just by myself after being around, you know, so many people all the time, which was really nice. I really miss it. But it's also really nice being in a home by yourself. But, you know, I was scared at first. For the first month, it was kind of scary because I was like, oh, how am I going to defend myself? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? But I think I've adjusted pretty good, and life is pretty good now.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, honey, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.